should do with this particular warm-up exercise, of course, first you would start off by introducing yourself, saying that you are going to be the PLTL leader for this section and for the rest of the semester. And we're going to start off by doing the warm-up exercise. It is worth 5 points of your total grade for the day. And so you would pose this question. Drowning, suffocation, and carbon monoxide poisoning all kill a person by preventing sufficient oxygen supply from reaching his or her cells. Using what you know about aerobic respiration, explain why lack of oxygen kills a person. Okay? So the idea is to be able to connect the concepts of aerobic respiration and the concept of respiration and life in general. Okay? Without the essential process of aerobic respiration going on in the body, we wouldn't be able to survive daily life. With oxygen present at the end of glycolysis from the production of pyruvate, okay, you have that basic checkpoint at that point where either you go into anaerobic respiration or aerobic respiration. Okay? If you have oxygen present, then you will go into aerobic respiration. If you do not have oxygen present, then you will go into anaerobic respiration. With aerobic respiration is what we're basically talking about in this particular question. So, with the presence of oxygen, that allows us to have oxygen as our final electron acceptor, which is absolutely vital because we need somewhere for those electrons to go. Okay? If oxygen is not present, then we'll have some other either inorganic compound or organic compound, depending on what organism we're talking about, will undergo anaerobic respiration. Okay? So as far as the efficiency of the usage of ATP, you have higher efficiency in aerobic respiration than in anaerobic respiration. You produce the majority of ATP through oxidative phosphorylation and the use of the enzyme ATP synthase at the end of the electron transport chain after the Krebs cycle in aerobic respiration. You create 32 ATP molecules, just about 32 ATP molecules, using oxidative phosphorylation. So, if that process was in place because you don't have a sufficient amount of oxygen, then your cells would not be able to function. Okay? Our body only maintains just a few seconds of ATP at any given time. So, if your body isn't getting enough oxygen to your cells, then after just really a couple seconds, you start losing function of the cells. And if it's sufficient enough amount of time, then the individual will die because of lack of oxygen, lack of the amount of ATP for the organism to actually function. Okay, so they should have something to that extent written down on their paper, ideally. Okay, but of course the majority of them won't. Okay, not to be pessimistic or anything. But the idea is for them to make this connection between this warm-up exercise and what we're going to do in the actual workshop today. Okay? And that's, don't necessarily explain it right there and then. You can tie in the warm-up exercise while you're going over the process. That way you don't end up repeating yourself because there's a huge lack of time during the session. So instead of going over the warm-up exercise right away, just say we're going to go over this concept once we go into the workshop discussion. Okay? And that's the warm-up exercise. Now, in the next clip, I'm going to go into the actual questions in the workshop.